The theory that changes everything. For more than 4,000 years, the towering silhouette of the pyramids has dominated the horizon of Giza, defying time, empire, invasion, and erosion. Among them, the most iconic structure ever built by human hands, the Great Pyramid of Giza, continues to ignite debate, mystery, and controversy. Officially attributed to the 4th Dynasty Pharaoh Khufu, this colossal monument has long been described as a royal tomb, constructed through sheer manpower, ramps, copper tools, and extraordinary organization. Yet, despite centuries of excavation, scanning, and research, a persistent question refuses to disappear: where is the missing evidence? The traditional explanation tells us that tens of thousands of workers quarried limestone blocks, transported them across the Nile, and hauled them up massive ramps to assemble what was once a 146-meter-high geometric perfection. Archaeologists have uncovered worker villages, tools, and quarry marks, but critics argue that the physical evidence does not fully account for the scale, mathematical precision, and internal engineering complexity of the pyramid. No complete ramp remains. No detailed construction blueprint has been discovered. No burial chamber definitively proves that Khufu was ever laid to rest inside. Instead, what we have are fragments, inscriptions elsewhere, and assumptions built over generations. Now, a new pyramid theory is reshaping the conversation. It does not deny that the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids. Instead, it challenges how and why they were built. This theory suggests that the pyramids were not merely tombs, but multifunctional monuments, structures with symbolic, astronomical, geological, and perhaps even energy-related purposes. It proposes that the absence of certain types of evidence may not be proof of impossibility, but proof that we have been asking the wrong questions. One of the most striking elements of this theory involves internal construction methods. Traditional ramp models struggle to explain the lack of large ramp remnants around the site. The new theory suggests that much of the ramp system may have been internal, spiraling upward within the body of the pyramid itself. In recent years, scanning technologies have detected previously unknown voids and corridors inside the Great Pyramid. These findings reignited speculation that hidden passageways could have served structural or logistical purposes during construction. Instead of hauling stones externally all the way to the top, workers may have used an internal ramp network, gradually sealing it as the pyramid rose higher. But the mystery deepens further. The alignment of the Great Pyramid to true north is astonishingly precise, deviating by only a fraction of a degree. Such accuracy would challenge even modern engineers without advanced instruments. The shafts inside the pyramid appear to align with specific stars that were significant in ancient Egyptian cosmology. Some researchers argue that these shafts may have pointed toward the constellation Orion, associated with Osiris, the god of rebirth and the afterlife. If the pyramid functioned as a cosmic gateway rather than simply a burial site, its architecture suddenly takes on a new dimension. The missing evidence, according to proponents of this theory, may stem from erosion, repurposing, and intentional concealment. Over millennia, outer casing stones were stripped away, internal materials were looted, and nearby structures were dismantled for other building projects. Ancient records were fragile, written on papyrus, and easily destroyed by climate and conflict. What if the documents that once described the pyramid's true purpose simply did not survive? What if we are reconstructing a 4,500-year-old puzzle with only a handful of surviving pieces? Even more intriguing is the geological component of this new theory. The Giza Plateau itself rests on limestone bedrock with natural cavities and groundwater movement beneath it. Some engineers propose that the pyramid's mass may interact with seismic vibrations in measurable ways. While mainstream archaeology remains cautious about such claims, researchers have demonstrated that large stone structures can resonate under certain conditions. Could the pyramid's shape amplify or stabilize vibrations? Was it intentionally built on that precise geological location for reasons beyond symbolism? The absence of definitive burial remains also fuels speculation. While some fragments of artifacts were discovered, no intact royal mummy has ever been found inside the Great Pyramid. Critics argue that tomb robbers emptied it in antiquity. Supporters of the new theory counter that perhaps it was never intended to hold a body in the first place. Perhaps it functioned as a cenotaph, a symbolic monument, while the actual burial took place elsewhere. In that case, the missing evidence of a burial is not missing at all, it was never meant to be there. What makes this new theory powerful is not that it replaces established Egyptology, but that it reframes it. It does not rely on aliens, supernatural forces, or lost civilizations with advanced machines. Instead, it suggests that ancient Egyptian engineering was far more sophisticated than we often credit. It suggests that symbolic thinking, astronomy, mathematics, and practical construction were intertwined in ways modern categories struggle to capture. The Great Pyramid once shone under the desert sun, clad in polished white limestone that reflected light like a beacon. At its apex stood a capstone, possibly gilded, catching the first and last rays of daylight. To ancient observers, it may have symbolized the primordial mound rising from chaotic waters at the beginning of creation. If the pyramid was designed as a cosmic model, an axis connecting earth and sky, then its architecture becomes an encoded message in stone. The missing evidence may not be physical alone. It may be conceptual. We may have inherited assumptions from earlier generations of scholars who viewed ancient monuments strictly through funerary lenses. But civilizations often build for multiple reasons: political, spiritual, astronomical, and symbolic. The pyramid could have been a statement of power, a calendar, a star map, a ceremonial site, and a tomb all at once. As new scanning projects probe the pyramid's hidden chambers and advanced imaging technology maps its internal structure, each discovery forces us to reconsider what we think we know. Science thrives on questioning, and in the case of the Great Pyramid, the questions are far from finished. This new pyramid theory does not claim to have every answer. Instead, it invites us to look again, more carefully, more critically, and more openly. Because sometimes, the absence of evidence is not proof of mystery beyond comprehension. Sometimes, it is simply the shadow cast by knowledge we have yet to uncover. Engineering beyond expectation. When we examine the pyramid not as a static monument but as a dynamic engineering achievement, the debate transforms completely. The scale alone is staggering. Approximately 2.3 million limestone blocks, each weighing between 2 and 15 tons, assembled with astonishing precision. The base forms a nearly perfect square. The sides are oriented toward the cardinal directions with remarkable accuracy. Even minor errors in alignment could have compounded over the structure's immense height, yet the final result stands as a geometric masterpiece. The new pyramid theory proposes that ancient builders used a highly organized, tiered construction strategy. Instead of a single massive ramp stretching endlessly across the desert, smaller ramps may have been repositioned as layers were completed. Internal corridors, some of which remain unexplored, could have facilitated the upward movement of blocks without leaving massive archaeological traces outside. Recent scanning projects have identified large voids within the Great Pyramid that were previously unknown. While Egyptologists caution against jumping to conclusions, these voids prove that our understanding of the interior remains incomplete. The theory suggests these spaces may have been structural buffers, relieving weight pressure to prevent collapse. If so, this indicates a level of architectural foresight far beyond primitive experimentation. Copper tools, often cited as insufficient for cutting hard stone, may have been combined with sand abrasion techniques. Experimental archaeology has demonstrated that copper saws used with quartz sand can indeed cut limestone and even granite, albeit slowly. Time, organization, and manpower can achieve what modern observers sometimes underestimate. The new theory emphasizes efficiency over miracle, discipline over myth. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Great Pyramid is its internal temperature stability. Despite the scorching Egyptian heat outside, the interior maintains a relatively constant temperature close to the annual average of the region. This natural regulation could be coincidental, or intentional. Some engineers argue that the massive stone density creates a thermal buffer effect. If ancient builders understood this principle, the pyramid may have functioned as a symbol of eternal stability, resistant to both heat and time. Furthermore, microscopic analysis of certain casing stones has led to controversial hypotheses suggesting that some blocks may have been cast using a primitive geopolymer technique rather than carved entirely from quarried rock. While this idea remains debated, it highlights the possibility that ancient construction methods were more varied than traditionally assumed. The missing evidence, therefore, might not be lost. It may be misunderstood. Tools degrade, organic materials decay, wooden sledges rot, papyrus instructions crumble into dust. What survives is stone, and stone tells only part of the story. Astronomically, The pyramid's alignment continues to astonish researchers. Some calculations suggest that the structure's dimensions encode approximations of pi and the golden ratio. Whether intentional or coincidental remains debated, but the mathematical harmony is undeniable. If the pyramid was designed to embody cosmic order, Ma'at, the ancient Egyptian principle of balance, then its geometry was symbolic theology rendered in stone. The new theory does not demand that we abandon established history. Instead, it demands that we widen our lens. Ancient Egyptians were not mystical magicians. They were engineers, mathematicians, and astronomers operating within a worldview deeply connected to the cosmos. When we consider their achievements in that context, the pyramid becomes less a mystery of impossibility and more a monument to underestimated brilliance. The evidence yet to be found. Every great mystery survives because it contains gaps, spaces where certainty fades and curiosity takes over. The Great Pyramid's missing evidence lies in those spaces. Why were certain chambers left unfinished? Why do some passages lead nowhere? Why are there hidden voids that modern technology is only now revealing? The new pyramid theory suggests that the structure may contain sealed chambers deliberately concealed for ritual or symbolic purposes. Ancient cultures often embedded sacred knowledge within architecture. Temples were cosmic diagrams. Tombs were journeys mapped in stone. The pyramid, perhaps, was both archive and instrument, a silent keeper of encoded meaning. Satellite imaging and muon tomography have begun to penetrate stone walls without excavation. Each scan reveals subtle anomalies. While none have yet overturned established history, they remind us that exploration is ongoing. The pyramid is not a solved puzzle, it is an active investigation. Some researchers propose that the Great Pyramid was part of a larger landscape design across the Giza Plateau, aligned with the Nile and surrounding monuments in a deliberate cosmic pattern. If true, its purpose transcends its own walls. It becomes a node in a grander architectural symphony. The absence of complete documentation from the Fourth Dynasty leaves room for interpretation. But absence is not proof of ignorance. Civilizations can achieve extraordinary feats without leaving behind instruction manuals for future archaeologists. Ultimately, the power of this new pyramid theory lies not in replacing one certainty with another, but in challenging complacency. It reminds us that history is a living discipline. New tools bring new perspectives. Old stones reveal new secrets. The Great Pyramid still stands beneath the Egyptian sun, silent yet unyielding. It has watched empires rise and fall. It has endured wind, sand, and skepticism. And perhaps its greatest mystery is not how it was built, but how much we still have to learn. The missing evidence may not be missing forever, because the story of the pyramid is still being written.